Your Pants Wednesday. Welcome back to the DJB Productions Network. Shit Your Pants Wednesday. Got a great movie for you today. But before we get into it, I got to introduce my co-host and DJB Productions Network creator, Mr. Danny J himself. Danny, welcome to the show again.
What's going on? What's going on? Shit Your Pants
yeah,
Wednesday. I have no idea why I'm fighting people. I don't know what I'm doing.
But it's kind of appropriate considering the movie.
Yeah, it really is. We got a great movie for you this week.
This was awesome. This was awesome. This is one I'm sitting around one day and Danny sends me a text. You have to see this movie. It is the 2019 movie Brightburn. And it's great because, I mean, we put the cover art for the posters up for this. We know sometimes the text on them is a little bit hard to read, but it literally says he's not here to save the world.
Right. This is a James Gunn movie.
Yeah. So that's going to tell you right there. It's done well. I mean, this movie had a budget. You had Elizabeth Banks was in it, which, I mean, again, she's not like a super A-lister, but you know, she definitely comes with a pretty hefty price tag. I mean, because she is in tons of stuff. So I mean, there was budget to this. The general premise is a young couple. They're having trouble conceiving a child. And one night, they're living out somewhere in the Midwest. I forget exactly what state it was, whether it was Kansas or whatever, but somewhere out in the Midwest, a lot of farmland, whatever. They got a farm. They feel this rumbling, something shoots over their house. They figure it's a meteor. They go check it out, and it's an alien spacecraft with a small baby in it.
What does this sound like? What does this sound like?
And the way I think this is best described is obviously it sets it up like Superman, but what if instead of Superman getting Kal-El, if we got Zod?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because what this movie is that it's like take everything from the origin of Superman, all right, and let's now reverse it. Okay, and the exact opposite of what we got is what we get, and how horrific this is. Like, this is definitely a sci-fi movie. It's a superhero movie per se, but this is very horrific because
it is hard. I mean, trust me, he holds nothing back. This is not like, oh, I'm going to beat you up. I mean, oh man, the kills in this are just fantastic, you know. And I say, you know, it's like, what if we got Zod? And the beautiful thing about it is, it's like, you know, he's like turning like 12, and the thing is, the people, they kept the spacecraft. It's like hidden in the barn, and at some point, this thing kind of turns on, and he starts hearing stuff in his head, and it's something, you know, stuff from the. And it's this alien language, and he suddenly starts realizing that he's an alien. He actually finds the spacecraft, and it's like sending him this subliminal message saying, take the world.
Yeah.
And
he basically sent there. He's sent to Earth to take over.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And so now you're dealing with that, and it's one of those things where, you know, just imagine if Superman, who in the comics is godlike in a sense, because of he's so like powerful, and you know, what would happen if this guy was bad? And motherfucker, do we get that with this movie? Because this kid, and here's the cool thing about it too, it's what you get out of it is that this kid, being like
he's a very he's a very well-behaved, well-mannered kid, and then suddenly it's like a switch gets flipped.
Right, but what do all kids do when they're confused or when they are discovering themselves and stuff like that? It really is kind of like a coming of age for this kid, and he's like, but the problem is, you know, when your kid has like, you're like, oh, he's in those years where, you know, the world's against him and he's angry all the time. Yeah. But I mean, imagine the kid's got powers. That's the bitch of the whole thing. Imagine he's got powers, and now yeah, he's going to have a temper tantrum, but he's going to flip the truck. So we got to go ask him.
Yeah.
That's the scenario, is that this
This
kid.
is a 12-year-old kid that when he lashes out, somebody dies.
Yeah. And
Very
because
badly too. Very
he's got,
badly.
he's got powers, and many kids, and you'll notice this when you're watching the movie, like forget about the sci-fi part of it, is that many kids, I think, go through this kind of stage where it's like they don't feel they belong for whatever reason. They feel isolated for whatever reason, and therefore they kind of
I'm
like,
alone. Nobody understands me.
nobody
Nobody can
understands
help
me.
me. Nobody can
Right.
help me because I don't even know what's going on with me. How are you going to understand what's going on with me?
So obviously that awkwardness comes out, which attracts bullies like a fragrance, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But now this kid, he's more than capable of taking care of himself because he's fucking Superman, for Christ's sake, right? But now, like, think of all the things that how, like, kids need to figure out what morals are, and
Mm-hmm.
kids need to figure out, like, why this is morally wrong, or why you should act this way versus that way. Kids figure this out, sometimes through experience. Sometimes there's like, well, Jimmy, you shouldn't have done that. Do you understand why? That type of thing. And how are you going to talk to this kid? He's going to shoot you with laser beams out of his eyes. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the point of it, is that, like, he's going through the same stuff, and it's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's like very, like, horrific. And as a parent, you're like, ooh, it's crazy.
And
Um,
the best thing I really enjoyed about this is because he was always been such a good kid.
yes.
It's like it's this total 180. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, the parents aren't seeing it yet. He's starting to lash out in certain areas, and it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Your kid, or even you are not necessarily the best example. So what the hell are you talking about my kid? My kid. My kid
Yes.
wouldn't do something like that. So what the
Yes.
hell is your problem?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a thing of like, oh, your kid was in my daughter's room. How could my kid have been in your daughter's room? He was off with us camping 50 miles away,
Right.
kind of a thing. Like,
We
what the hell?
know. We know.
We know.
We know how he was doing that, but the thing is, and you know what? There's also a point where, because they wanted a child so badly,
Mhm.
and they quasi adopted this kid, they did whatever they were going to do. They're not going to see wrong in him.
Exactly.
They're overlooking
Hmm.
obvious problems.
Hmm.
They're overlooking obvious
Especially the
quirkiness,
mother. The
especially the
father
mother.
starts
Exactly.
the father starts really big, but because of course hey, most women, if you decide you want to be a mother, that there's you'll
Right.
defend your kid, the whole 9 yards until you see it
Mm-hmm.
for yourself.
That's
You don't
correct.
want to believe it, and then it's part of the horror is when she finally realizes, like, oh shit,
Oh,
because
when
then by the time
it's
she
way too
realizes,
late.
oh shit,
It's so
she's
late.
realizing, oh shit, at a point where it's too late to be a valuable input to the situation and to
Right.
help.
So many people are dead by that point, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
And what you have here turns into a different movie altogether, because now you have this beast on Earth, which is a
Hmm.
killing machine, and very scary. And he takes on a very, like, homicidal type of persona. And he's not like Superman, but bad. He's
Hmm.
like this evil thing, and
Yeah,
he's
he
leaving.
is.
He's like leaving. What do they call it? Like leaving, like, symbols.
Yeah, he
Like,
creates his own little because
his own
the
little logo.
Brightburn is actually the name of the town that they're in,
Yes.
and he kind of creates this little logo. It's like these back to back interlocking bees, so it's like this like two diamonds
But I think
with like a
his
line
name.
through it, kind of a
I think his.
thing.
I think his name, though, is BB. If I remember correctly.
You
I
know what? I'm gonna pull up
Yeah.
IMDb
If
real
I'm
quick
not
here, just to,
mistaken,
just to see what his
because that's how they
just to see what
figure
his
out.
character's name is.
Because that's how they kind of
Yeah,
figure out that it is
yeah,
him.
Brandon Breyer. So
Yes,
it's
yeah.
got a
So
double thing there going on. So
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
but it's wild because I mean
Mhm. And
oh
let me tell you something. Some of the deaths that you see, first of all, they graphically did some crazy shit in this
yeah,
movie. The effects are
they did not
amazing.
hold back. They did not hold back at all.
And it there's jump scares in this movie. What he does as a basically a kid, and there's nothing, honestly, let's think about this for a second. There is nothing scarier than a kid with omnipotent power, because you can't reason with them
Hmm. He's
because they
already now
don't.
decided. He's already decided this is the way I want to be. I like the way this feels, and
Yeah,
he does not. It's kind of like, you know what? This is the way I feel. I like the way this feels, and you know what? Nobody can tell me I'm wrong.
right. And that's what every kid is. They're against the world and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But now this kid, he can crush things and he can laser things and stuff like that. He's a crazy, crazy kid, you know.
It's kind of like
And
that whole thing of like those psychotic kids that become serial killers. They start off by sitting in
mhm.
the basement. They're pulling wings off of flies, but instead of messing with flies, he's doing this with people.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, exactly,
he's
exactly.
oh, I'm gonna dead rat in the basement. I'm gonna cut it open, see what's inside. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this open, see what's inside, but it ain't dead yet, and it's a
Yeah, you
person.
know. But what a great take on a Superman lure. It really is. It's just an
Yeah,
amazing take on it. And to make a superhero movie a horror movie, wow.
yeah.
Wow. And the ending is great.
The ending is great.
The ending is great. I mean, the whole movie leads up to the ending, and the ending is like, holy shit. Like, this movie was going to be, and there was no derailing of that train. That they got to be, from
Hmm.
A to B very, very well. And then you watch during the credits, because there's end credit footage that you watch and stuff like that, which is even more, especially for a superhero fan and a Superman fan and stuff like that. There's even more for you to look at and say, oh wow, look what he did here. Look what he
Hmm.
did there. How cool is this?
Oh,
So
and look what else, is happening.
yeah.
Don't
So
I'm not That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to give any of the part of that up,
I really
because
don't.
I
But
want
yeah,
everybody to we want everybody to see that stuff that starts getting presented and be just like we were, being like,
yeah.
what? Yeah, give me more.
That's funny as
And I
shit.
think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Um,
it was great. It was great. I really do wish and did wish it was going to get a sequel. The thing about this movie was it didn't get a lot of hype. It didn't get a lot
no.
of promotion at all. It was like a little thing that James Gunn did in
Mhm.
between movies, and it was like, why this didn't get hype, I have no idea.
I
Maybe
have no
because
idea
of the
either.
subject matter, because nothing in it aside from what the story is Superman.
Yeah,
All names are changed,
yeah,
all things, and just the story, the origin story is there, and
yeah.
then he goes off on his tangent from there. So maybe because of how close it was, he was only able to do so much because of Warner
Hmm.
Brothers. That's always a possibility. But my God, what a great movie this is, and a great.
This is definitely a movie to watch again and again. This is
It
something
is.
that just definitely be like, okay, yeah, this is the first time I watched it, but it sure is not going to be the last.
Yeah, it's a great movie to watch over and over. It's, and especially like I said, if you like superhero stuff, this is great. And he does great. There's great effects in it, and there's great kills in it, and the subject matter of what happens, and they're like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. The whole movie. That's what you're saying is holy shit.
Hmm.
The whole movie. So definitely make sure you have paper towels around, because you're going to drop your food when you're watching
Hmm.
certain
Yeah.
in this. But once again, this is a movie that shit your pants Wednesday. This is going to be one of those ones that's not just a gem. It's not a hidden gem. This is a major gem to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
And it's not on the radar. It's not on a
No.
horror radar. It
No.
really isn't, but it's a horror movie.
Mhm. I
So
know, even too, after I watched it, I've got a couple guys I work with, they're major comic book,
yeah,
fanatics. And I go walking by him one day, and I'm like, they asked me a question like, hey, who had the better villains? I think whether Batman or Superman, kind of a thing. And I'm all like, we started talking. I was like, hey, you guys ought to check this out. And two of the guys had seen it. And they were like, oh, yeah, that was freaking awesome. The third guy hadn't. And he's all like, somebody's doing it. We're like, yeah, you need to see this movie. But it's one of those things where, it's just awesome.
It really is. Matt, take us home, bud.
All right, everybody. Make sure you check out Brightburn. That is one thing we'll definitely say. You need to watch this, especially if you are a superhero fan and love horror. But also, too, don't forget to like our channel, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video. Did you see Brightburn? Did you love it? Did you watch it and for some reason hate it? And what is wrong with you if you did?
The truth. I mean, really.
Seriously, because I mean, this is just a solid movie, period.
It's a solid movie.
Go check out our Facebook page, SYPW. There will be links for that in the description as well. But, hey, check out all of our channels. But in the meantime, we will be back here next Wednesday with another edition of Shit Your Pants Wednesday. And make sure you got a clean pair of drawers because you might just shit your pants.
Or this guy will laser on the fuck off of you.
Yeah. But for myself, Danny J, the entire DJB Productions Network family, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.
You got it.